Big hello to everyone. Uh, Let me introduce myself. My name is Kandarp Rai, and I'm a general knowledge faculty, and I'm working with Career Launcher. So, in today's session, as you can clearly see, the topic of today's session is how to ace CLAT GK in 4 months. So, you all know very well that CLAT examination is going to happen on 18th of December 2022. So today is 16th of August, and not much of time is left. It's about only 4 months practically. So in today's session, I'm going to discuss what are the important ways with the help of which you can really prepare GK well and get good score in general knowledge. I know GK is not easy to prepare; it's quite demanding, but at the same time, in this session, I'm going to address precisely this thing so that you are helped in the preparation of GK. Right. So let's begin today's session and let's see what are the important session objectives that we are going to deal with today. See, in today's session, the session objectives are: number one, the time duration to be covered for CLAT 23 GK. It's a big problem with many of the students. They start thinking, should we do the last 6 months ka data or last 1 year ka data? So we'll discuss that for sure. Then the second objective is how to prepare GK. I think this is a core objective of today's class. तो बहुत ही ज़रूरी है. We'll discuss that also. Of course, sources of preparation is again a big cause of grave concern to most of them, because many of the students feel that we should use that resource from where questions comes. So in that process, they end up having a lot of resources and they are not able to really, have meaningful resources with them. And of course, in the last, session objective, I'll be discussing about what not to do in GK. Everybody says GK में ये करो वो करो, but I believe GK में क्या नहीं करना है, that is very very important. So let us begin, today's session, and let us understand the major issues that you encounter and how you can handle it in an effective manner. The first objective is time duration to be covered for CLAT 23 GK. Now, in that, please understand GK is a vast subject, and if you look at the past year's papers, you have seen that majority of the questions are generally and broadly, they come from the last 1 year ka data prior to exam. So you very well know that the examination of 2022 happened on 19th of June 2022. So many students start thinking that it happened 19 June, so let's start doing from June onwards and we'll do the last 6 months ka data, and that is relevant. To my mind, a big no to this. I'm very, very clear. Please keep this thing in mind that CLAT generally asks questions from the last 1 year ka data practically. So don't do any kind of compromise in that. Ideal time duration would be from January 1, 2022 to November 30, 2022. Now you must be thinking that why November 30? Exam is on 19th of December. 18th of December. So to my mind, I believe that the paper is an offline paper. So paper gets printed, it gets distributed. So it takes some amount of time in doing that. Therefore, a safe time period that we need to prepare is at least November 30, 2022. This is a very, very important input. Please bear this thing in mind that we are not supposed to do only last 6 months ka data prior to exam, but we must focus upon the whole year, broadly speaking. Now, how to do it? That's also a question. Let me just get into that and make you understand. See, the observation of the past year's papers tells us very clearly that it is sure that majority of the questions come from the last 6 months prior to exam. Majority means if there are 7 passages coming, so we can assume that around 5 passages will be coming from the last 6 months ka data. If you analyze the past year's papers, you will agree with me on what I'm saying. So this is one important learning here. Second important learning is we are here to prepare GK well. So we need to prepare it completely. We are not here to do only last 6 months ka data, which should come in the paper, but it's very strongly possible that they are going to ask questions from the first 6 months of the paper also, of the time duration also. So my strategy for you would be that you need to divide general knowledge into 2 parts. Part 1 is basically from January 1, 2022 to May 31, 2022. And part 2 is from June 1, 2022 to November 30, 2022. Now, when we are dividing GK into two parts, we also need to understand that we have to cover January 1 to May 31 ka data. That's also a very important segment. Let me give you an example. Winter Olympics happened probably in the month of February 2022. Similarly, Union Budget presented once in a year. It also happened on February 1, 2022. So are they not important topics? They're very important topics. So you can expect questions coming from there. So don't make false assumptions that we'll do the last 6 months ka data. It's a very, very important thing that I'm trying to highlight again and again. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Now, the challenge is we are already in the month of August. Today is 16th of August, and we are not having too much of time in front of us. So how to cover the backlog? That's a big problem. From January 1 to May 31, how to cover that? And you also have to do whatever is happening parallelly with you. Every day is having some news or the other. You have to prepare that as well. So what should be the strategy? My strategy is, as we know that data from June onwards will be very, very important. So my suggestion to you would be that you pay good amount of attention from the date of June. Okay, good amount of focus on that, because all the issues which are important issues, you need to pay solid attention to that. But in order to cover it from January to May, the only possible solution which I could figure out was that there are important issues that have happened in the past, from January to May. So what I have done is I have compiled a list of important issues that have happened from January to May 31, 2022, and I'm going to display those topics to you. Please understand, it's a very sincere and genuine effort to cover whatever is important. But again, there can be nobody in the world can give you this guarantee that all the data will come from here only. But we firmly believe that they are very important issues, and if you do them thoroughly, then you will definitely have a lot of confidence that I have done justice with the time period of January to May. Please understand, January to May is important. So pay adequate amount of attention to cover at least these topics. This is what I'm trying to suggest. Okay. So I'm going to show the topics to you one by one. I will display the slide for around half a minute or so. Choice is yours. You need to capture that data. And in fact, this recording will also be available, so you can see it later also. Let me just show that slide to you and also read them out to you so that you understand that these are the so-called important topics that you need to prepare. Okay, so the first part will be covered like that. So first part mein I'm going to show you some 5 months ka jo important topics I'm going to display it to you. Have a look at it, note it down, take a picture, whatever you want to do, right? And you have to prepare those topics. When it comes to the second part, that is from June onwards to November, I will discuss about it in the other part of this session. Okay, I will discuss accordingly. Let's have a look at the important issues from January to May. So here are those issues. In the month of January, we had a lot of important issues which were there. Let me just read them out to you. The first one is Green Energy Corridor. Second one is One District, One Product. Third one is Mahakali River Treaty, which happened with Nepal. And then we have Missionaries of Charity controversy. Remember, Mother Teresa and the organization was kind of banned in terms of receiving foreign aid, and there was some FCRA rules violation that were relegated. Global risk report, important hai, always reports are generally they ask about it. Golden Globe Awards, surely they are important. India Central Asia Summit, India is trying to expand its presence. So India Central Asia Summit happened. ICC Awards 2021, these are International Cricket Council Awards, cannot be compromised. Corruption Perception Index have been important, will be important, and is important. Please do. Then we have Parker Solar Probe, touching sun. And of course, the Padma Awards, they are very, very important. And last but not the least, the Sri Lanka economic crisis. It's still going on, but these are few important issues which I believe if you do them, then you are doing sufficient amount of justice with the January ka month. I assume you are taking a note of it, and please understand these are the important topics that you need to prepare. Then we have the month of February. and the February month is this. Square Kilometer Array Observatory, SKAO. That's very, very important. It was very much in the news. Then we have National Single Window System for clearing of lot of other permissions that are required to get the things done administratively. Mission Indradhanush 4.0, which talks about important vaccines and all. बहुत सारी इंपॉर्टेंट वैक्सीन हैं जो बहुत सारी बीमारियों के लिए लगाई जाती हैं, उस पर मिशन इंद्रधनुष लॉन्च किया गया था. इसका 4th वर्जन चल रहा है. दैट्स इंपॉर्टेंट. डेमोक्रेसी इंडेक्स पब्लिश्ड बाय इकोनॉमिस्ट इंटेलिजेंस यूनिट. आई बिलीव इट्स अगेन वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. One Ocean Summit, India is talking about blue economy. So world is also looking at blue economy. So One Ocean Summit makes a lot of sense. New India literacy program, of course, it's the talk of the town. So you need to do it. Comprehensive economic pact, the trade pact that happened with the UAE, that's also important. EOS 04 successfully launched, important hai. Winter Olympics, as I mentioned, needless to say. Milan 2022, one of the largest, exercise of Navy. It's very, very important. You need to do that. Then, I believe you are all, noting it down and it's making sense to you. See, we are trying our level best to do justice with this, okay? And let's see some more. That's about March. Andhra's 3 capital plans scrapped. High Court gave a verdict that there will be only 1 capital. Then multi-modal logistics parks, which are related with the infrastructure of the economy. India Environment Report. Of course, environment is very, very important topic. So they do ask questions based on that. Assembly polls happened in various states of India, and Uttarakhand, Punjab, and all, they witnessed that. So it's very, very important. Do it. International Arbitration and Mediation Center. It has to do with law, so it has to be important. Inaugurated in Hyderabad by Justice N.V. Ramana. Very important. Then we have BBIN Motor Vehicles Agreement. That is Bangladesh, Bhutan, and India का जो motor vehicles की movement के लिए agreement हुआ था. Significant development. UPI 123 Pay and DigiSathi. These are the apps and supports which are launched by Reserve Bank of India. Very important. Then we have National Supercomputing Mission. Of course, we are launching a lot of Param 8000, Param, different names of computers are there. So they are all part of National Supercomputing Mission. Needless to say, it's important. Chardham project, AK Sikri is heading that committee in terms of environmental impact on Chardham Yatra, the road that they're trying to create and widening the road. Then we have latest CIPRI report. CIPRI is, Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. It talks about the export and import of various, arms and ammunitions, which country has done the maximum and the least and all. Then we have World Happiness Report. Of course, indexes में happiness report पे सवाल बिल्कुल बनते नजर आते हैं. Sovereign green bonds. I mean, it is the talk of the town nowadays. Sovereign bonds होते हैं, green bonds होते हैं. They're meant for sustainable development. Important है. National Security Act. Important है. Pakistan political turmoil. You know that Imran Khan had to finally quit, and then there is Shahbaz Sharif who's heading the government there. So again, it's important. Then we have a World Air Quality Report. Of course, see, please understand, if you're talking about environment, then world air quality becomes naturally very, very important, So pay attention to these areas which are important from the perspective of March. Let's have a look at the April data. UNESCO World Heritage Tentative List. UNESCO keeps on putting various structures under tentative list of, cultural heritage and all. It's important. 9th BIMSTEC Summit can't, ignore, 5th BIMSTEC Summit can't ignore it, because BIMSTEC is becoming a very important organization of late. It happened in Colombo, so this was there. Jal Shakti Abhiyan, Catch the Rain initiative. Of course, we have a Har Ghar Jal mission happening. So government of India keeps on coming up with a lot of initiatives in that. PM Mitra Parks. This is about textile fundamentally. So what is the concept? How to do it? Antarctica Bill. India is the signatory of that. Important hai. Oscar awards. Needless to say, I mean, isko choda hi nahi ja sakta. India Australia Economic Comprehensive Trade Agreement हुआ था. That's important. AU-KUS new grouping, Australia, UK, and US. It's important. Then we have PM Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, one of the very important schemes that India launched, and it was a very, very useful one during especially the COVID period. So it's in the news because of many reasons. India-Nepal relations, rail link, Nepalese rupee, and all. See, India and Nepal relations are becoming better. India is launching the RuPay का अपना जो digital platform वहाँ launch कर रहा है. इसके अलावा इंडिया नेपाल के साथ रेल लिंक एस्टैब्लिश करने की बात कर रहा है. लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स आर हैपनिंग. आई बिलीव इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट. QS वर्ल्ड यूनिवर्सिटी रैंकिंग, क्विक रैली सिमॉन्स रैंकिंग, नीडलेस टू से इट्स एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट. बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि क्लैट मोस्टली जो रैंकिंग्स होती हैं, एजुकेशनल रैंकिंग्स होती हैं, इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी पर जो रैंकिंग्स होती हैं, उन पर रेगुलरली सवाल पूछता है. देन वी हैव TAPI, दैट इज तुर्कमेनिस्तान, अफगानिस्तान, पाकिस्तान का जो प्रोजेक्ट है पाइपलाइन का, दैट्स इंपॉर्टेंट. द न्यूज रहा है हमेशा से, उसमें एक्सपेंशंस होते रहते हैं. टू डू दैट, HDFC लिमिटेड HDFC बैंक का मर्जर हुआ था, अगेन दैट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. फर्स्ट प्राइवेट एस्ट्रोनॉट मिशन ऑफ दिस एलॉन मस्क कंपनी SpaceX, उसने लॉन्च किया था. कोविड का 19XE वेरिएंट, इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट. Guys, let me tell you, we are trying our level best to picture and capture that data which we believe is important. You may find they are too specific, but we believe they are important. That's why we are trying to stress upon it. We believe we must do justice with what we are doing, and in order to do well in GK, you need to be very very widely read, comprehensive, understanding honi chahiye. Then only you will be able to crack the questions. And let's move on to the next slide, which talks about the April, May. There were many topics. SECI index was there. PM Museum is launched. India US 2+2 dialogue, extremely important. It's regarding the defense and foreign affairs. Elon Musk and Twitter deal. Actually, he said he will buy. Then he refuted that deal. Then there's a case and counter case that is happening. So you need to know what this deal was, what happened, why it was cancelled. Important hai. Laureus Sports Award, very famous world awards. So Neeraj Chopra was also nominated for the award, though he didn't get it. But again, it's important. Many people got it. So important to have. Let's move on to the last slide of the month of May and have a look at it very quickly. It's about World Press Freedom Index. Extremely important. It talks about democracy and press freedom and all. India UAC. It's a repeated topic. Some topics जो पहले आए हैं वो बाद में भी आ सकते हैं, आते हैं. Important तो है. Then we have COP26 summit and concept of Panchamrit. This is very very important, extremely important topic. COP26 is conference of parties, ग्लासगो में हुआ था, बहुत important summit है. उसमें नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने पंचामृत 5 चीजों के बारे में हाईलाइट किया था. It's very important. Delimitation Commission of Jammu and Kashmir. I mean, रंजना प्रकाश देसाई was the head of that. उन्होंने कुछ टोटल सीट्स में इजाफा किया है जम्मू एंड कश्मीर के अंदर. टोटल 83 से 90 सीट्स हो गई हैं. That's important. State of World Forest Report, of course forests are linked with environment, तो उस context में World Forest Report तो बहुत important होगी. World Food Prize, very very prestigious award. COP15 of United Nations Conference on combating desertification, that's again important. Please understand, we are not confined to only environmental issues, we are confined to other biodiversity and ecology related issues also. These are the talks of the town, very very important. Then we have Sagittarius A, the first black hole pictured by a telescope. First one, historical development and need to be done. Then we have Cannes Film Festival, 75th edition was there. India was the official guest of honor, and Anurag Singh Thakur and many people went there, so it's important. Tokyo Quad Summit, surely it's important. When we talk of Tokyo Quad Summit, समझना ही होगा, Quad is a very emerging group. और टोक्यो में summit हुआ था, नरेंद्र मोदी also participated in that. State of Inequality India report, it's an India report coming up from Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council, very very important. Then we have IPEF, a grouping launched by United States of America, Indo-Pacific Economic Forum. It's again an emerging group, you need to know that. Then we have World Economic Forum Davos meet, damn important, बहुत important है World Economic Forum meet, बहुत important है, you need to pay attention to that. Then Ayushman Bharat health account, that is पता ही है आज की डेट में we are having a digital health mission also, and they're trying to link information technology with Ayushman Bharat. So again, it's a very important topic. And last but not the least, it's International Booker Prize won by Gitanjali Shri. So my dear students, I have very quickly summed up the so-called very very important topics from January to May. Please understand very clearly, we strongly recommend that you need to do these topics at least. इनको जरूर कर लीजिए, और जून onwards तो है आपको बहुत ही अच्छे से प्रिपरेशन करनी चाहिए. Now we are going to discuss another important aspect of this session, and that is how to prepare GK. Now in any when you prepare GK, there are so many things which seems important, but I'm just boiling down to very very critical points which you must pay attention to prepare GK well. See, you know that micro topics are not your cup of tea. In the examination they don't ask micro topics. Micro topics means some topic like some political commentary, some political gimmick, or some furor happening somewhere, or some minor accident happened somewhere, you are advised to go through the actual past year's papers. You can yourself make out that talk about important topics. What are the important and relevant topics of late? आज के लिए important topics क्या हैं? We can always take an example. It can be, I'm taking some old examples also just to share with you. Tata's acquiring Air India, Maharashtra imbroglio that happened there, and very recently, RBI increasing the repo rate, making it, up to 5.90 if I'm not wrong, and topics like Commonwealth Games where India performed exceedingly well, right? So these are some 4 important topics that I am picking up to explain that they can be termed as relevant topics and important topics. So my understanding is whenever you prepare GK, please, first thing you need to do is you must understand that the topic that you are doing should be a relevant and important topic. I'm not asking you to do the topics like कि कहीं पे कोई प्लेन क्रैश हो गया और उसमें एक आध पायलट की डेथ हो गई है तो अनफॉर्चुनेट, बट इट्स नॉट अ टॉपिक जो कि क्लैट में पूछा जा सकता है. If you look at the actual passages that came in the CLAT paper 2022, there were topics like drone policy, green energy, ISRO and related details, Ukraine-Russia crisis, AFSPA. So by looking at those topics only, you can make out what kind of questions comes in your paper. So the first important thing that you must understand is to identify an important and relevant topic, right? Once you are done with that, in any damn topic, you are expected to do 3 things, The first thing is you must understand in a very, very layman terminology what is the issue all about. For example, let me take the example of say Tata acquiring Air India, or say Maharashtra imbroglio that happened. Okay, so let me just take one issue. For example, let's take this Maharashtra thing. What happened in Maharashtra? Maharashtra mein, there was a chief minister by the name of Uddhav Thackeray, belonged to Shiv Sena, and he had to resign from the post of chief minister because his party MLAs were not supportive of him. They broke away from him and they joined another leader of Shiv Sena only. His name is Eknath Shinde, who took help of the opposition, so-called opposition party of BJP of late. And the ex-chief minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, provided support, and they said, okay, we would love to work under Eknath Shinde and not Uddhav Thackeray. Then Uddhav Thackeray and others went to court also. Supreme Court also said that no, you will have to prove your majority on the floor, and then only you can, form the government. And then Uddhav Thackeray decided that no, I know very well that they're not going to support me, and therefore he said, okay, I'm going to resign. So he resigned. Then Eknath Shinde proved the majority along with, of course, Devendra Fadnavis. And at the end of the day, Eknath Shinde from Shiv Sena is the present chief minister now, and Devendra Fadnavis of BJP is the present deputy CM now. So the first thing is what, right? Then why? When we enter into the why of it, we understand why did this happen. Because the MLAs who were there with Uddhav Thackeray, they were not supportive of him. They said that there is a policy paralysis happening. Maharashtra is not growing. There's no growth happening, and the way he's taking decisions, not paying attention to burning issues and all. So they were not supporting him actually. They said, no, we are not having faith in you. That's why we are moving away from you, and we are going to, the other person whose name is Eknath Shinde. Now, the why of the issue is that they lost faith in the credibility of Uddhav Thackeray. Because of that, they decided to move. Probably, we can say this is one of the major reasons that's why he moved out, right? And then comes the how of the issue. When I say how of the issue, please understand, how of the issue means the chronology of events that happened and the main points of the whole issues, Yes, I have already explained the whole issue. So how of the issue is basically facts, the points on which questions are generally asked. For example, in this whole issue, they can always ask, questions like who is the present chief minister of Maharashtra, which party Uddhav Thackeray belonged to, or who is the present deputy CM of Maharashtra, or they can always talk about governor. Who was the governor of Maharashtra? B.S. Koshyari. And they can also talk about the powers of the governor. By the use of that, he can call he can ask the chief minister to prove his majority in the floor. they can always, talk questions about in such a situation, what happens, which article of the constitution is linked with that. So please try to understand when you do how of the issue, you are doing the important facts related with the issue. So to my mind, these are the three important areas that you need to pay attention to. One is what is the issue, must understand the very basics of the issue. Then you need to understand why of the issue. When you're doing the why of the issue, you're already catering the history of the issue. You are understanding the reasons behind it. And how of the issue is basically the chronology, which provides the feed of question answers to you. Actually, question answers इन्हीं पर पूछे जाते हैं, right? So in order to prepare GK, there are students who are having lot of concerns and queries. They say, sir, you know, they say, sir, when we are doing this, so we have to do static GK also. To my mind, please understand, when you say static GK, you don't really have to prepare static GK separately. My advice would be, do the current GK topic thoroughly. When you're doing it thoroughly, the static GK related with that will be covered, appropriately. So don't have to do static GK अलग से करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Please do the current affairs very thoroughly. It will be taken care of. So let's move on to another important aspect which I wanted to highlight, and that was sources of preparation. Now there are so many sources available in the market, so many YouTube videos available in the market. My advice would be, please restrict yourself to quality resources and please follow them diligently and thoroughly. To my understanding, there are few resources which I believe are worth pursuing, and of course they are very good resources. I'm not trying to unnecessarily talk about it that the questions cannot come outside this. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Questions comes outside that also, but we have the data with us. Many of the questions have come from the resources, provided you have done the things thoroughly and diligently. Okay, so the first resource that I would like to highlight is Manthans from Career Launcher. In our organization, we provide Manthans which are given to our students. They are in the PDF format. The two types of Manthans are there. One is called as weekly Manthan, other is called as Manthan 2.0. So my strong recommendation is, they have been proven time and again that they're very good resources. Please follow them diligently as a primary resource of your preparation. Second important thing, I did talk about January to May ka preparation. Now I'm talking about June to November ka preparation. Strongly recommended. Please read a good national daily every day. If you can do that, that's great. Nothing like it. Now, which national daily to follow, either Hindu or Indian Express, anyone will do. You don't have to do both the newspapers. There are students who do too much of मेहनत दे चुकी मैं ये भी पढ़ लूँ वो भी पढ़ लूँ यहाँ से भी पढ़ लूँ वहाँ से पढ़ लूँ. I am sorry, not at all recommended. Please follow diligently one good national resource. That is one newspaper. The challenge in reading a newspaper is that it's a vast newspaper, no, having around 18, 20 or maybe 30 odd pages. So what you need to do in a newspaper, again, it's a topic of YouTube Live in itself. But again, let me just give you a brief idea. First is you need to do the editorials for sure, because editorials are based on the current issues, right? So if you are doing the current issue, if you want to remain abreast of the current events, editorials are the best. I'm not asking you to do the opinion page. No, please do the editorials. In that, we have 2 to 3 editorials coming. Around 3 editorials are given on the left hand side of the Hindu or Indian Express. I'm not asking you to do opinion. Mark my words. You're not supposed to do a PhD in GK. Okay, you have to be very, very smart in terms of your preparation. Please do something which is relevant. Editorials is one thing you cannot escape. Number 2 is the main news. Main news headings that are there in every page, in national, international, state, sports, business. There's a heading which is there, main news, with big and bold fonts. Can you please locate which is the main news? Can you please go through it diligently? This is all is expected when you read newspaper on everyday basis. Make notes of them. Unke notes bana lijiye. That's also very, very useful. Okay. Then we have another resource, that is the news channel. Many students don't follow news channel. I don't agree with this. To my mind, news channel is extremely important. Please watch the prime time mainly. रात के time जो prime time आता है उसको देखो. It will take care of all the important events that have happened in the day. So that's a really good resource, and you should not confine yourself only to reading a newspaper. Please, you can use other resources also. I'm going to share with you the list of the news channels that you can look up to. One is DD News for sure. Next one is NDTV 24/7. That's fine. Sansad TV is a depthful one. If you can follow that diligently, nothing like it. And then WION is also a good one. There's a special, YouTube videos that come from WION, and that is Gravitas by this journalist, some Upadhyay journalist is there. She does a good work. 10 minute mein, 15 minute mein, you can understand the gist of the matter. So these are the general and important resources that we strongly recommend for your preparation. Okay, you can please do it. इसको करना बहुत जरूरी होगा. और to my mind, please follow them like anything. I mean, they're very, very good resources. Also, one very important input here. Students think that reading a newspaper or reading Manthan and watching a news channel, they still have doubts. They think that, am I able to really do justice with GK? Will the topic come from there? वहां से सवाल आएगा कि नहीं आएगा? देखो एक चीज बहुत क्लियर है. Questions come from Earth only. जमीन से ही सवाल आते हैं. Questions don't come from Neptune or Pluto. Okay. The only best thing that you can do is you can be aware maximally of whatever important is happening around you nationally and internationally, right? So there can be no sacrosanct answer to your question when you say, sir, ये पढ़ने के बाद हो जाएगा ना? To my mind, ये best है. You should do your best, and that is what is expected. So don't give feed to this thought again and again and again that if you are doing this, will it be able to cater everything? In the experience of my life, whatever I have taught and knowledge I have gained so far, I firmly believe that they are more than enough, provided you do them thoroughly and diligently with being true to yourself to the core. That's very important. It should not be that you are not doing it and you start expecting कि मेरा ये भी हो जाए वो भी हो जाए. ऐसा नहीं होता है. There's a very good saying, बोया पेड़ बबूल का और आम कहाँ से होए. Means जो आप करोगे वही आपके सामने रिफ्लेक्ट होगा. And I firmly believe in this dictum. अगर तुम लोग मेहनत कर रहे हो तो उसका रिजल्ट जरूर आता है, उसे कोई रोक नहीं सकता है. So the thing which is in your control is मेहनत only. That's what you need to do. Now we are nearing the end of this session, so let me move on to the last topic, which is what not to do in GK. Now this is interesting. In GK, the first thing that you must not do is don't do GK superficially. Many students don't want to face the problem of GK. They don't want to, go slightly deeper into the issue. They just do the superficial one-liner factual data. No, this is not done. That is why I've asked you to do what, why, and how of a topic. So you must be at a medium level of understanding. I'm not asking you to do a PhD or a research in that topic. You're not preparing for IAS examination. It's a law entrance exam. It's a UG exam, right? So you are supposed to know the very basics and very, very fundamental and medium level of understanding of a topic. So don't do GK superficially. Number two, don't do micro data. Students are like कि वो वहां पे कोई INS का कोई निर्देशक करके सर्वे वैसा लॉन्च हुआ उसको भी कर लें. वो कीजिए, वो आपके काम आएगा. बट जब हम किसी टॉपिक को प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं तो टॉपिक जो है वो माइक्रो टॉपिक नहीं होना चाहिए. इट शुड नॉट बी कि सपोज कीजिए देयर इज अ नेशनल सेमिनार ऑफ टीचर्स दैट इज हैपनिंग. Will it be an important topic? No. What can be an important topic? Important can be, the prime minister elections happening in Britain. That can be very, very important. Of course, Russia, Ukraine is there. Sri Lanka crisis is already there. You know that. Not only this, a lot of other things are happening in India, right? Very recently, we celebrated the 15th of August. So Narendra Modi gave a lecture, and in that lecture also, there were 5-6 points that he highlighted. I think that makes sense. Awareness to honi chahiye na mere paas. So micro data are not your cup of tea. Look at important and macro data. Don't do GK superficially. And last but not the least, in GK, most of the students are always in a hurry because they think that GK में कर रहा हूँ उसका result आना ही चाहिए. इसमें I can't comment more on this, but I think the major problem is with the attitude towards GK. Everybody thinks that if I'm doing GK, so result must come. Please understand, in GK, you need to be consistent and you need to be patient in GK. Okay? GK में आपको inconsistent नहीं रहना है, यानी आपको consistent रहना है, और impatient नहीं रहना है, यानी कि आपको patient रहना है. धैर्य रखना है GK में. GK is not like mathematics or reasoning where you apply some logic or concept and you crack the question. GK takes time to build. GK demands consistency and GK demands lot of energy also. Okay, so in the end, I would like to say that in GK, you need to be patient and consistent. please identify the important topics, do them at a medium level of understanding with the resources that I have told you. And last but not the least, kindly don't consider GK as a subject. I did not mention it, but I want to highlight it here. GK is not a subject because GK is not having any syllabus. So GK is something which is there with you. You need to my mind, if you ask me, I would say live GK. You need to breathe GK. You need to eat GK. You need to sleep GK. What I'm trying to say, whenever you are free, can you discuss the things which you are studying with somebody as a friend of yours or study buddy, so that GK stays with you? Because many a times retention is a big task. So kindly, read the data thoroughly, kindly write down the data to retain the data. And last but not the least, if you can discuss GK whenever you can, I think that is the best way of retaining GK. So with this, I would like to say a big thank you to all of you. Thank you very much for this session, and I hope it will help you in terms of your preparation of GK. Thank you very much.